Hi everyone, hope you're well and you're ready for another fun foam roller class today. We're going to focus today on reconnecting with our core. I don't know about you, but I feel like I need to do this. It's going to be some fun variations on some classic exercises, but using the foam roller in a novel way. Okay, so we're going to start with standing with our foam roller and feet hip distance apart. All you're going to need today is your foam roller. So as we start, we have our hands pressed on the foam roller. So think of the foam roller as your pillar to lengthen the spine. As you gently push down the foam roller, think of lifting up the pelvic floor and drawing in the abdominals, so pulling up and in. Almost as if you could lift up onto your tiptoes, which we're going to do now. Lift and then down. So that sense of elongating through the spine, drawing your shoulder blades down, widening your collarbones and lifting up on your tiptoes and down. Release, push down, lift and heel raise and lower, release, push down, lift and heel raise, release, push down and lift and heel raise. Good. Now have your feet at 10 to 2 alignment. And let's add a squat. So we inhale and exhale and push up into the heel raise. The heels come down. We lower down into a squat, still pressing on the roller. As we exhale, we lift up onto the tiptoes. Heels go down. Knees wide. So to keep your heels on the floor, you might not be able to lower very much. That's fine. Keep that connection with the roll. And then lift and heel raise. Lower the heels. Keep pressing down on the roller. Lower and lift. Lower the heels. Now we're going to do some footwork. So lifting up onto your heels. Keep your heels lifted, pressing down on the foam roller and lower down. So you can come a little bit lower into the squat. Keep your heels lifted and then lower. Raise the heels, squat, exhale and lower. Lift, bend, exhale and lower. 4 more. Lift, bend, exhale and lower. 3, lift, bend, waking up the legs. You should be feeling those inner thigh muscles, the quads at the front, and 2 more. Exhale and lower. Last one. Lift, exhale and lower. Now having the foam roller to the right side, okay, so you have some space for your left leg and I'll come onto the side and just let the leg swing. So we're just going to let the leg swing forwards and backwards. The leg can be bent when you bring it up. We're just releasing, warming up the hip. I'm finding having both hands on the roll helps steady. So try, just make sure you've got enough space to clear the leg. And 3, 2, and 1. I've just found the faster you swing, the more challenge for the balance. Shift the roller to the left and swinging the right, forwards and backwards. Focusing on the standing leg, keeping strong. Float freely. Just warming up, mobilizing the hip joint. And 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lovely. Back to the centre. Now, I'm going to just tilt my screen a little bit so you can see me. This one. Mobilising the middle back, releasing any tension around the rib cages. Okay, so focusing on, we're going to swing the roll up to the side. We're just focusing on one at a time. So we in and exhale, in and exhale, opening up through the lats muscles, latissimus dorsi muscles, stretching all the way down to the sacrum. Enjoying that freedom of movement that the pendulum creates. So it's almost, I think of, like in a fairground ride, when you're in one of the rides that swings from side to side, and there's that momentary pause at the top. So holding just for a few seconds at the top. Just go at your own pace. You're holding lightly. It's again just moving freely. And 2 more. Lovely stretch. And now the other side. And note, how does this side swing? Does it feel like it swings in the same direction, or does it feel slightly different? Might not feel quite as fluid, or you might feel this pulling in other areas. As I said, this can release all the way down to your sacrum in your pelvis. Inhale, breathing into the lateral ribs, enjoying that stretch at the top. And 3, and 2, and 1, and back to the centre. We're going to do a full 360 now. So we're releasing up, twisting over, and then down. Don't think about it too much. Up, twisting, and down. Up, twisting, and down. So it's just switching the arms up, turning the roll the other way, and then swing down. Lovely, and 1 more. Okay, we've warmed up our shoulders. Now let's start with some warming up of the spine. So we're going to do a partial roll down. So try not to think of this hinging the hips backwards. So really focusing on the spine for this one, okay? So feet hip distance apart. Inhale and exhale. not the chin to your chest, peeling the spine up until the point where you would start to hinge from your hip. So I get to about there, inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. So it's that sense of lifting. So you're not only lifting the abdominals, but lifting the diaphragm as a result. So you're almost lifting and rolling the diaphragm over the organs. Inhale and exhale. So thinking of opening up through the spine, hollowing and lifting the diaphragm as you just roll down the spine. Inhale and exhale. Bring the roll overhead and let's repeat. Inhale and exhale, hollowing and diving. So you're rounding the spine, lengthening the spine as you roll. Inhale, opening through the back, and exhale, back into standing. Inhale and exhale, almost lift the roll as you lift the abdominals and the diaphragm. Opening through the back, widening through the spine. Inhale and exhale. And inhale, exhale. So keeping your hips completely still at the bottom. We're going to side swing to the right. And back to the centre. So just focusing on the right, opening up on that right side. Inhale as you open. Inhale and back to the centre, over to the left. Inhale, open. Inhale, open. Gently squeezing the roll to feel that stretch through the mid-back and rib cage. One more. And now we're just going to side swing to each side. So nice and free. Trying to keep your hips still. So try not to swing the hips from side to side. Let me come more to the side, to the front rather. So you're keeping your hips trying to keep them still. This is a really nice massage to the diaphragm, opening up through the ribs, and then back to the centre. And inhale and rolling up. Okay, I think we've warmed up the spine, the shoulders, the legs. Now we're going to roll, we're actually going to pop the roll down in front of us. Let me lower this. Okay, so you can see the roll, just to see my foot position. So have the roll out in front of you, right foot on the roll, and standing, you might want to have your hips on, your hands on the hips, on the pelvis, and we're going to just roll the roll forwards and backwards, dropping the heel. Roll forwards and back. So it's a nice stretch and release through the calf whilst balancing on the left leg. So really thinking of the sole of the foot. It's a massage also to the fascia in the foot, the plantar fascia. You can press a little bit more firmly if you have any problems with your plantar fascia, to get a stronger release. And now hold it back so your heel is now down, and lifting up the heel and then down. Now the aim of the game with this one is to keep the roll completely still, so just make sure your foot is in a position where you can keep the foam roller still. Again, nice stretch into the calf muscles, the Achilles, and also challenging our balance. You can do this with your eyes closed if you really want to challenge the balance. But just keeping the roll still, it's actually harder than it looks. And replace the feet. Okay, other side. Warming up the ankle and the foot. Rolling forwards and backwards. It might feel tighter on this side or just different. Might not feel as easy to glide the roll. Any kind of ankle issue, if you've sprained your ankle, you might, as a consequence, it might be more restricted on this side. Let's lift up the heel and then down. Try freezing the roll in space. Keep it there and down. Keeping those glutes active on the right side. Standing tall. And 3. And 2. And 1. Good. And release. Okay. Next one. We're going to have a lie down on your mat now. With your feet on the foam roller. Okay. Finally, I've got the screen actually where you can see all of me. That's good. Okay, so I want you to wrap your arms, your hands around your rib cage. Okay, feet hip distance apart, and just close your eyes momentarily. So your hands are on your lateral rib cage. Just take a moment to focus on your breathing. As you inhale, try to expand into your hands. So you're breathing into the lateral rib cage. So deep into the lungs to expand that lower lateral, so outer aspects of the lungs. This helps us connect with our core muscles and also release as we inhale. Just think of widening in between your shoulder blades, relaxing in the back. And 2 more. Really breathing into those hands, expanding outwards, relaxing your shoulders. And 1 more. Good. Okay. Relax the arms by your behind your behind your head. So we're going to come into some abdominal work now. So using the roll is, we're not trying to squash the roll, we're not trying to really work our hamstrings. We're trying to use our core to stabilise our back and our pelvis whilst moving the upper and the lower body. Okay, so it's facilitating the movement by using the roll. So what we're going to do is inhale to prepare. So inhale into the deep lungs, and as you exhale, come up into a chest lift, and then lower down. So this is the upper body, what we're going to be doing. Hold it there. So have the hands behind your head. And for the lower body, we're going to move the roll away from us. So just make sure you've got the feet in the right position so you've got that freedom of movement. So as you extend the legs, you're lengthening the tailbone, keeping the abdominals pulled in. Okay? So we're going to add the 2 together. Inhale and exhale. Come into a chest lift and stretch the legs away. As the legs come up, we're lowering down. Inhale. Exhale. Legs in, lower down. Keep going. Increasing the tempo a little, so keeping moving. Exhale, bring the legs in and down. Inhale. Two more. Okay, we're going to hold the chest in that position and just move the legs for 10, 9, inhale, exhale, 8, 7, 6, 5, light through the legs, 4, 3, and 2, and 1. Good. And lowering down. Bring the legs, my foam roller has run away. Now have the arms and legs straight, so arms overhead. The foam roller is bringing our legs up a little bit to assist us with our roll up. So we're inhaling with the arms overhead. As the arms pass the shoulders, exhale and reaching forward, feeling that lovely hamstring stretch. Exhale to lower down. Inhale, exhale, reach. Inhale, exhale, roll the spine all the way down. Inhale. And reach. So using the roll to help you, and the arms, so as the arms pass, so trying to push down through the roll and reach. And 3 more. And coming all the way up. Lovely. Now bring the roll a little bit closer towards you, so your feet are on the roll, but your knees are bent. So we're sitting upright. And again, we're going to move our lower body. Just try not to arch the back, pushing the ribs forward. Try to keep in this slight C shape, so drawing the belly button in. We're inhaling, reaching your legs away. Again, just position the roll so you can straighten the legs. And then exhale. In. You can flex your feet and then point to come up. In and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. That feels quite manageable. Let's make it a little bit more challenging by bringing your body further back, having your elbows a little bit more bent. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Try to keep in that C shape. And 3, 2, and 1. In this position, legs straight. Keep your fingers pointing towards the roll and flexing the ankles. Inhale and coming into back leg stretch, back leg pull rather, and point the toes, lift the hips and then down. Flex and point, lift the hips up so you're straight like a plank. And 3. Exhale, lift. Lift. And 1 more. Great. Just give your wrists a bit of a stretch. Okay, coming now forwards onto the roll. Knees under hips. Coming into a child's pose. So we're sitting back on our heels into a child's pose and then rolling the roll out in front of us. So sitting and then rolling out in front. As we come back, we exhale, rounding the spine to sit back onto our heels. So we reverse, we reach the tailbone long, reaching the arms away, and then round. So it's a nice way to stretch through the latissimus dorsi muscle, but also loading through your upper body. It works this part, and it feels quite nice. It's also a nice way to release a lot of tension we can build up in our wrist flexor muscles if we do a lot of typing. That's an area that can get really quite tight and sore. Now come up onto, so now your thighs are vertical, and now reaching away, so you're reaching the body in front of the legs, and then roll back up. This is a little bit more challenging. Exhale, inhale, and roll the foam roller back up. It really works the arms. So reaching, deep inhale, and rounding up. And last one. And release. Moving on to your front now. And placing the roll underneath your hips. So we can get really restricted, really tight to our hip flexor muscles. That can put a lot of tension on your back and your hips. And it's a bit of a strange position to be in. Try not to have the roll in your tummy, but more your upper thighs. Okay, because it can be quite uncomfortable. You might want to put a small cushion or a towel if it feels really quite too firm. But in this position, just get the feel of relaxing through the front of the hips. So we're not going to be in this position for long, don't worry. It will feel so much nicer afterwards, I promise. So tuck your toes underneath, and let's just stretch out through the hip flexors. So trying to stretch the legs into straight. So knees lower down, and then stretch. Stretch through the front and the back of the leg and lower down. You might not be able to fully extend both knees depending on how tight your hip flexors are. And one more. So extend both legs. Now with your right leg, just point the toe and lift through the hip, not the back, just the hip. And lift and lower. And lift and lower. And lift. Feeling the stretch and elongation through the front of the hip and the leg. And 3, 2, and 1. Lower down, tuck the toes under, and lengthen and point the left, and float, and left, and float. Often if we are very tight to the hip flexors, when we do work on our front, we end up really having to think of lengthening our tailbone and drawing the abdominals, just so we don't use the back. But if we release the hip flexors first, it puts you in a much better position to start the exercise. So So it should make it a lot easier for our next exercises. And one more. Good. And now, if you just let your knees drop down, does it feel easier and a bit softer, not quite so rigid, lying on that foam roller? Okay, you'll be pleased to know we're coming off it now. And now lying on your front. Oh, that feels really nice and easy. You should feel you don't have much space now at the front of the hips, as maybe you do usually. Reach your foam roller away from you. And we're going to come into swan. So working our upper middle back to start with. So we inhale, draw your shoulder blades down towards your back pockets and draw the foam roller towards you as you lift up. So you're looking just beyond your foam roller and lowering down. And lift up and lower. And draw the roll towards you, using the roll to assist the movement, peeling the spine into a smooth curve. And coming up and lowering down. See if you can float the legs as you come up, lifting up, activating all our back extensors, and then lowering down. Inhale and lift, and then lower. 5 more. And lift, and lower. And 2, and 1. Push back into a child's pose. Stretch it out. Reach for your foam roller now and place your knees on the foam roll. Now hands under shoulders. Place your knees away from the hips so they're not underneath the hips. So you're not in a box. Someone can tell me what the name of this shape is. It's not a rhomboid. Anyway, so we're going to bring the foam roll, you guessed it, as we exhale towards us. So we're rolling the foam roll on our shins. Inhale, away. Exhale, towards. So if you feel you're losing this connection with your abdominals, just reduce the movement. So just do a smaller movement. Just this movement of weight bearing through the upper body, activating the core before moving the lower body. That in itself is a challenge. And it's also, if you ever have had any shin splints, this area on your shin can get very tight and sore. So we're having a fascial release as we do this. And then lower down. Okay, we're moving on now to our back. Just seeing the time is nearly up. So we're going to roll up onto your feet Inhale and exhale. All the way into standing. And place the roll by your side. Feet hip distance apart and reaching up and circle. Reaching up and circle. And reaching up and circle. Thanks everyone. Sorry for the abrupt ending. Time ran away with us. We'll be back next week. Have a good week.